great time. And hopefully next year.
And maybe even some of us older owners is for help. But I'm back.
Chill the fuck out, Sakurai! Oh my god! No fucking way! No fucking way! Dude! Dude! How the shit is this real? How is it real?
And it starts to pan in and it's showing like pieces of cloud like in Smash Brothers, and I'm like, holy crap.
I was like, whoa, was that Devil's Third?
That was Devil's Third.
Niggas said it wasn't possible? Cloud Strife! Oh no, it's over. It's over, dog.
Who done stepped in the game? At point blank range. Who done stepped in the game? At point blank range. Who done stepped in the game? Stepped in the game. Stepped in the game.
Welcome YouTube. Yes, I'm back. This is the Rogue Ninja of K9 Descent, Shadow Fox, the real Shadow Fox, Shadow Fox Prime, Shadow Fox Infinite from PureVideoGames.net. And while you're watching footage of Tekken Tag Tournament 2 Wii U Edition, we're going to talk about some things that have happened. So this video is titled Direct Theory from the Nintendo Direct that happened in November of 2015. Nintendo made a couple announcements that kind of set the internet aflutter, if you will, from Twitter to YouTube to Google Plus to Instagram even, and of course Facebook groups and various forums are, you know, basically either extremely excited or extremely underwhelmed with regards to everything Nintendo has presented, to the tune of at least 24 games that were announced and some other custom announcements for DLC and stuff like that. They either got people in a tizzy, being good or bad, or some people being extremely optimistic and thinking Nintendo is going to solve world hunger based on some of the announcements in this direct, which, you know, obviously is far from the case, both in the positive and negative sense of the word. So, well, let's put everything back into the middle and put a couple of facts in there here and there to ground people back to reality, shall we? So we'll go ahead and start off with one of the other topics that there's really no way to tie this one way or the other, because it is a fact. More Amiibo are coming, and they are a constant, just like death and taxes now. So there's nothing you can do. There are a couple of people that are YouTubers that have already expressed their either excitement or disdain for the fact that the Wolf Link Amiibo is out, because it means they have to buy more Amiibo. Myself being one of them, and I definitely feel a lot of people's pain, because they're like, oh, I was almost done. Yes, they still hit you in the head. So if you haven't got Lucas yet, if you don't plan on getting the gold Mega Man, which looks just like the regular Mega Man, if you're gonna have to deal with it one way or the other, because I'm pretty sure if you don't want any of those two, you probably definitely want the Twilight Link, if you will, or as some people call it, the Midna Amiibo. So yeah, Nintendo announced a new Amiibo to go with another announcement, which is Twilight Princess HD, which we'll talk about in just a second here. But there's a Twilight Princess Amiibo with Wolf Link that's completely different, because Wolf Link has his own stand on top of the normal Amiibo stand. So there's a little circular stand that all the Smash Bros. Amiibo and the regular Amiibo have, or what have you. And there's two rocks from the game that Wolf Link is standing on, and Midna is sitting on his back. So it looks pretty intricate. I like it, so I'll definitely be one of the people to get that. The only problem is how, because at this point the only way to really get it is if you pre-order the game, and of course pre-orders kind of flew off the shelves as soon as Nintendo announced it. So if you're not able to get one from GameStop or whoever you can get the pre-order from, the question is, how do you get the Amiibo individually? Which retailer will have it, and how long will they have it? Because Nintendo kind of mentioned that it's going to be kind of limited individually after the release of that game. So I guess we'll have to see exactly when that's going to happen. So a lot of people were really upset that actually happened. So yeah, more Amiibo. Yeah, there are going to be plenty more coming. So there'll be probably more Pokemon announced, more Animal Crossing Tenant Amiibo coming. There'll probably be an Amiibo for some yet to be announced in this video characters, as well as probably some more Fire Emblem characters. So it'll happen. It's gonna happen at some point. And of course we still have the Amiibo for third-party games as well. It's looking like third parties are trying to get into the act. So the Shovel Knight Amiibo and things like that are happening. So yeah, get your wallets ready, because Nintendo is ready to take the entire thing away from you. So yeah, and one of the other announcements was more the Zelda Triforce Heroes giving you DLC and things of that nature. People didn't really take kind to Triforce Heroes for all their purest reasons, but from everybody that I've talked to that's actually played the game, they can't really say the game's boring. It probably just doesn't meet their expectations of a Zelda game. But you kind of, if you're going to take any other game and treat it as an individual game, you kind of have to do with that series as well, because Zelda is starting to branch out and have its own different franchises. So you can't blame Hyrule Warriors for being a bad Zelda game, because it isn't a Zelda game. It's a Dynasty Warriors game with basically a Zelda skin on it. So if they're coming up with new mechanics for Zelda and making it more of a party dungeon crawler, if you will, you kind of have to give them credit for that as a dungeon crawler instead of a traditional Zelda game, because it's not trying to be a lone single player. Here are the 3 items you collect, then go to the Dark World and fight in the 7 dungeons. That doesn't appear to be that type of game. So yeah, let's start thinking about things a little bit more objectively. So there's another Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game, Super Mystery Dungeon, if you will. So all the Pokemon likers out there will definitely be excited for that. In addition to the virtual console versions of the first 3 games, which kind of had a lot of people excited, both in the press and in the user community. So you can finally go all the way back and get those Pokemon Yellow, Pokemon Blue, and Pokemon Red Pokemon and trade them all the way up to the latest versions of the Pokemon games that are out, X and Y and things like that. Before that, you had to create the ultimate mega stack with a DS, a Game Boy Advance, and a Game Boy Pocket Color to get all these games transferred and transfer codes and use transfer cables. So now it seems like hopefully Nintendo is answering people's prayers by making these virtual console games and being able to port stuff from the virtual console environment to your 3DS environment, so you can future-proof your stuff. Otherwise, those Pokemon are lost to time, and nobody ever wants that. Free video games, free video game content. Make sure we're able to play it forever. So I'm fully in support of that. Super Mario Maker had some new levels that are coming, and new content that's going to be coming as well. And in addition to that, they basically created a web front end for making searching easier, because a lot of people complain about searching and finding better maps to play, better levels to play, and things like that. So they created their own Super Mario Maker website where you go in from your computer or your tablet or phone or whatever, and queue up stages, and they'll be ready to play on your Wii U when you log in, which I think is pretty cool. And I think that's another step in the direction of the new NX future, if you will. Whether NX is a console or a platform, I'm still tending to think NX is more of a platform as a service more than anything else. Like it'll be a one constant thing that's going to exist regardless of they make another handheld, another home console, a web app, or a smartphone app on a computer, on a phone, or what have you. They'll all see the same things, and everything will be continuous. I'm starting to think that they're trying to make strides towards that. So with a lot of the little smart little things that Nintendo has decided to do by making by doing either add-ons to games and making content available in different kind of smart and genius ways here. Kind of points that I think that they're starting to get the online thing right. They're starting to try to get content for their games seen in a way and added onto in a unique and smart way that, you know, the other two companies aren't trying to do, because they have their own standards that are trying to match against each other. So Nintendo always thinks outside the box, and I think that was kind of interesting the way that they did that. Some people maybe obviously are going to think on the worst of it and say, oh, why couldn't this just be in the game and things like that. But that would depend on whether it's actually possible on the hardware, because you have to imagine that certain things aren't possible while you're playing a game, because you have to dedicate RAM to certain things, and a lot of the stuff that PlayStation 4 and Xbox One are touting being able to do with new firmware updates and stuff like that may have not existed when Wii U was being planned way back in 2010, 2011. So you kind of have to take those things into account. So while, you know, Sony and Microsoft still had the better part of the beginning of 2013 to finish out their plans, Nintendo already had their hardware in production and finished. So yeah, whether it was actually possible or not would determine whether or not that was a good attempt or a bad attempt. I'm tending to think that they're going around their own limitations at this point. So it probably wasn't possible the way the game was designed originally, or the way the console was designed originally. So, Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, which looks pretty good, but according to Dr. Trey 81, is not a good game as far as content wise. Only has one map and stuff like that. Whether or not this game is going to get the Super Mario Maker, Splatoon, Hyrule Warriors treatment is yet to be seen. But if all indications from the internet being upset are true, this game is extremely lacking day one. Looks pretty fun to me. I don't know about getting big and all that other kind of stuff, but just doing ultra smashes and just regular smashes, to me, just seems a lot of fun, like the old Mario Tennis was. So as long as it at least has some of those mechanics still, I'm interested. And with it being a I won't say budget, but a $50 game versus a $60 game, that, you know, that kind of helps soften the blow a little bit. But nah. If it's bad, it's bad. I don't know yet. I'll try it out and see, and you'll get my impressions as well. We'll see what's going on with that, and yeah, we'll give it a shout. So, Dr. Trey, if you're correct about that, man, that's kind of scary. But I'm gonna hope we're wrong about it, because I think Nintendo has been giving that game too much attention for it to be, you know, as limited as you said it was. To me, the game of the show, or the direct, if you will, is going to be one that I have clear bias for, and that's Xenoblade Chronicles X. That game just looks better and better the more I see it, even though it's been out for almost a year now, since it's been in Japan for quite a while.
Get ready for the
they've added all the voice acting and things to it, and everything just looks good. They showed some footage not too long ago, showing how big the world was, and there's a lot of hubbub on the internet about you know, why is this game is bigger than Witcher 3 and all these other games out there, and people are coming up with different ways to debunk that, but not necessarily prove it wrong one way or the other. Xenoblade Chronicles is a very big game. It is clearly one of the largest 8th generation games with regards to real estate that you must traverse in a game, and I haven't seen anything that big probably since the original Xenoblade, or in Just Cause, but that's obviously a completely different game. It's not an RPG. So those are some of the largest game worlds I've seen, and it's just crazy the amount of detail that's still there, and there's stuff to do everywhere in that game. If Xenoblade Chronicles is any indication, you'll be very busy in this game, probably to the tune of 400 hours plus of gameplay, if you're trying to do side quests and stuff like that, which most people do if they're playing a game like this. So what really got my attention was a video that I saw regarding this game, where they basically mentioned that there are no load times in the game unless you use fast travel. So you could literally go from the main main city, which I would think would be a hub world, and then you choose where you go out from there. You don't even have to exit that city to go through a load time, to go through a door or something like that, so you can get to the open world area, if you will, that sprawls out. You could fly over the wall, and there you continue to fly, and you're literally in the game world, and you're going. So everything is LOD'd or something to that effect, because the entire game is in RAM. It's crazy. You can go anywhere you want to and not have to worry about loads. You can fly around, you can drive around, run around, or whatever, and there are no load times whatsoever from any of the footage that I've seen in the game. The only way you get loads is during cutscenes, or if you try to fast travel from one area to another, which I don't. Unless I'm trying to do a whole bunch of quests, I don't see myself fast traveling, because that game just looks too beautiful. I want to go around and just move around slow the entire way, if possible, or fly around. So, but anyway, so Pokken Tournament was shown as a game for 2016. Nintendo's trying to, I guess, show some faith that, hey, we haven't given up on Wii U yet. So there's a couple titles and DLC that they've announced for games coming in the future. Pokken Tournament being one of them. And you know, obviously it's a cross between the game that I'm showing you right now and Pokemon. So obviously I'm a Tekken fan, so I want to at least try this game out and see how it works. And I think it'll be interesting to see the reaction to my kids seeing this game. That'll be kind of interesting, at least a little bit. So yeah, piqued my interest a little bit here. I don't think that's, you know, a game of the year contender, if you will, but it might be a best-selling game if it proves popular here. We'll just have to see. Nintendo's trying to make it a tournament game and show it to top 10, you know, fighting game players and stuff, so they can get their opinions on it and get feedback and try to make it a competition type game. So we might see it on Twitch a lot in the near future from people in the USA. So yeah, so Star Fox Zero. There's some people on the internet that decided to say the game doesn't look better and stuff like that. Obviously the game is further along. They're going to start adding new effects and stuff like that, and a lot of stuff that was shown at E3 was placeholder. There's placeholder vocals, textures, things like that you know, come from other games that Nintendo has previously developed, and they're just throwing stuff together so it can be playable. So now we have a more directed trailer in the new Nintendo Direct, and you can tell that there's a lot more action. Depth of field is clearly enabled now, and things look a lot clearer. So some of the texture effects, namely water, and some of the textures on some of these other vehicle models, be it the R-Wing and the Walker, they look a lot more detailed. There's a couple more bumped surfaces and a lot more polygons added. So specular highlights, not so much. Just more global illumination and local lighting, like real hardware lighting being added to a lot of these scenes now, so you can see a lot more detail and a lot of light bouncing off of different things, which I think is pretty cool. Other than that, though, it looks like a Star Fox game now. There's no more generic text and stuff like that. Everything looks like they're going back to the formula here, and it looks like a Star Fox game. So I'm with that. If they make the action fast or if they make it slow, as long as it feels like a Star Fox game, I'm about that. I will play that. That seems pretty good to me. So there was a lot of 3DS talk, and a lot of people were kind of upset about how much 3DS stuff they decided to show, being the Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, which I think is a wonderful crossover idea. I think that's going to be an interesting and probably a pretty funny game, because most of the Mario and Luigi and Paper Mario games are pretty funny. They have pretty good writing. So, you know, the staff over at the Treehouse, they're pretty funny at translating a lot of the Japanese text and making it interesting for us. So I think I'll look forward to that game. And a crap load of RPGs are headed this way. So you got Fire Emblem Fates, Fire Emblem Fates, Birthright and Conquest, and then there's a third version of it, depending on how you beat those 2 games. You can buy both of those games as a bundle for save you maybe a couple of bucks, I guess. Well, you know, they add you some extra content. You're really buying it for the same price you would 2 games, but they give you extra stuff with it. So I guess that makes it cheaper in hindsight, if you will. Hyrule Warriors Legends is coming out for the 3DS, which I thought was kind of interesting. And they've added Linkle, which the internet has went ablaze because of that. So I don't know why, but for whatever reason that people people are kind of upset about her inclusion in this franchise. But she was already planned as a throwaway character. They ditched her at the last minute for the Wii U version. So now she's in the 3DS game, and hopefully Nintendo's smart enough to, you know, eventually address this and put it in the Wii U version as well. So we'll see what happens going forward. Final Fantasy Explorers, which was interesting, because Cloud was added to this game, which kind of threw some people off. That was kind of weird. There's a Mega Man Legacy Collection coming to 3DS as well, along with Steam World Heist. So a lot of 3DS content coming. So for Wii U, it depended on how you were looking at it. To me, there's a lot of RPGs coming to 3DS, but for Wii U, you've got one really big RPG, and you've got a lot more variety. So you have Twilight Princess, which I think, now that I'm talking about it, is clearly the GameCube version with a lot of textures being reworked and made a lot better. And there are some pictures floating around right now that look really, really good in a lot of areas. So they've clearly redone or completely deleted a lot of textures and added in brand new ones all over again to create better stuff. So with regards to that, so that's coming, and that has the Wolf Link Amiibo, which is going to be basically going to be them holding your arm, twisting your arm, and saying you will buy this game because you want this Amiibo. And yeah, that's twisting my arm, so I'm probably going to get it. Fast Racing Neo, it is approaching. People are slipping on this game. This is like literally F-Zero, so completely with the voice announcer from F-Zero. So I'll definitely be looking into that. That looks really, really good. Typo Man is out now, if I'm not mistaken. I need to download that and start running through that. That looks like a really smart downloadable title. So I'll be looking into that. Mighty Number 9 was also announced. Well, not announced, but shown. So there'll be more of that coming. And of course, you still have other stuff like you still have Shantae coming as well. So there's a lot of stuff on eShop and a lot of indie titles coming. For whatever reason, the press tends to not talk about indie titles on Wii U at all. They don't play them. They don't talk about them. With the exception of games like Shovel Knight and stuff like that. And even when they do, they tend to make it a point to say they played the PC version. And I don't really get that at all. Steam World Dig was a really good game on Wii U. I had a blast with Freedom Planet, which is probably the best Genesis game ever released, in my opinion. There's a lot of downloadable titles on Wii U. So I think as a Wii U owner, you really have issues if you can't find anything to play on that platform. There's plenty of ways to spend your money on this platform, and you actually have fun with it. So it just all depends on what you look for. And of course, some people, they just want to complain just to complain. They don't really want to buy all that stuff, even if they did like it. It's just something for them to talk about on the internet, I guess. But for people that actually do play games to have fun and not to impress other people, I think that, there's no one platform that should really disappoint you that much, because there should be at least one or two titles that are worth your while for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, or Wii U, to where you could spend $120 a year and you've gotten a good 20 to 40 hour experience between those two games or more. In the case of Xenoblade, obviously you get a lot for $60. So
get ready for the next
I'm not understanding some of the downtrodden remarks that are seen floating around online. But you guys, if you have that, I don't know what else to say to you about that. So now, Nintendo had Badge Arcade. I will say I think that is a complete cash grab. Basically a crane game that you're paying to play. So yeah, that one I don't know. Nintendo, what are you thinking? Maybe that's a Japan only thing. Y'all try to figure out a way to get it to work here, but I don't know how well that's going to work for you. But then again, I didn't think people were going to buy Mii costumes for Smash Brothers, and those appear to be doing pretty well. So maybe they know a little bit more than we do. They are a multinational corporation for a reason that always tends to have profit generation over generation versus other platform holders. So alright, so yeah, you've listened to me whine on and on and on. So the beginning of this video, there was an intro, and you've seen kind of what has made the internet go crazy, and that was the inclusion of Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII being a downloadable character in Smash Bros. For Wii U and Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 3DS. So Cloud Strife plus his costume, and his alternate costume, and his stage Midgar will be available pretty soon, and you'll be able to purchase that. Yeah, and obviously Cloud Strife comes from the 1997 Final Fantasy game, which marked the big departure of Square in their long-standing relationship with Nintendo. And a lot of people attributed that to, Nintendo not having discs at the time, and Sony did, so that's why they left, and things like that. But yeah, Square's back, and it looks like they've appeared to provide a lot of support, which has a lot of people speculating and saying, oh, well, this version of Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming to Wii U, and or it's coming to the NX, or, and we don't know. We don't have any details for any of that, obviously. Nobody has mentioned anything about that. Obviously, Square, EA, Capcom, and Ubisoft, and they've all saying they're evaluating their support for, this unnamed platform right now. So that's just general business talk, basically saying if this thing takes off, yeah, we will have some stuff out, because we don't want to be looking stupid when it does take off like we did with Wii, which is common sense. You would expect that, right? So yeah, they're doing that, but I wouldn't take I would take any speculation on what Square is going to do after this whole Smash Bros. Thing with a grain of salt.
Get ready for the next battle.
I do think that Nintendo has fostered a deal with Square, but I'm starting to think that they're holding third-party developers hostage, because I know they want a little bit of this Amiibo business, and you gotta believe there's going to be a Cloud Amiibo now at this point. So yeah, you probably be not that wise to think different. It's coming, just like the Ryu Amiibo is coming. It just goes without saying. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Nintendo did their direct. They were really smart in the way that they kind of announced things here and there. They pushed enough content, enough news about the kind of games they have coming forward. They did a little bit of the talk about Shigeru Miyamoto and everything, and that was not needed, but I guess they did it. They did it at that time to kind of appease whoever was really distraught about it, since the last time we had a direct, Owada was on it. So yeah, we had to mention something about somebody being completely missing, I guess, and it's kind of, I don't know, maybe it's a little bittersweet for some fans, but yeah, I thought it was probably a little. I can't say it wasn't smart business sense, because if they went to completely ignore his passing and not talk about it at all, that would seem kind of shrewd on here. Even though in Japan it's just like, hey, you know what? If you died, you died. That's it. Let's move on. It would seem kind of shrewd, but at the same point in time, it would show that they were focused. So I don't know if there's a good answer to how they did that. I think the way that they did present it was great. They kind of said, hey, he's not here anymore. Let's keep it moving. We're about making games. So yeah. it was presented directly to you without the man that, you know, that fostered it all. So yeah, I haven't given my RIP, so, you know, moment of silence to the late Satoru Iwata. You will be missed, and this was a great Nintendo Direct. Alright, thanks for listening, guys. Leave your comments in the little comment section below. I guess you can subscribe if you like. You know, if you want to decide to follow me or any of the other people that I have in Gamers at Large with me. And as I always say, do you play games to have fun or to impress other people? I'm out.
You win.